Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So last summer, it was a very weird free agency period as we didn't have a ton of big names. The salary cap was still flat for the most part. So as a result, we had some pretty horrendous deals ended up getting signed, as well as some short-term low AAV kind of deals that have looked like utter steals as of right now. So today I thought it'd be a fun idea to go through the 5 best and the 5 worst. I'm not ranking these, but just naming 5 of the deals that I absolutely love from this 2023 free agency and 5 utter shitburgers. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first good one is Ryan O'Reilly to the Nashville Predators. 4 years, $4.5 million. And he is looking like Ryan O'Reilly from 2 to 3 years ago. Obviously, last year was a bit of a down year, ends up getting traded to the Leafs, but he is picking up exactly where he left off, basically in his last full season with the St. Louis Blues. He has 42 points in 48 games, playing 20 minutes a night. And when you look at that Nashville forward core, it has really been carried by Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg. He is 13th in WAR by Evolving Hockey, so he is playing very, very elite. I wouldn't say he's playing his 2019 form when he won the Selke and went on to win the Conn Smythe, but he is playing like a legit number one center, and at $4.5 million, that is fantastic. Guess he is either 32 or 33, so maybe like the last 2 years of that deal might not be fantastic, but again, it's still only for $4.5 million. So right now he's playing like an $8 million player. Even if he regresses the next 3 years, probably in that last year or two, he's still going to be worth well over 4.5. So it was a fantastic deal by the Nashville Predators and Barry Trotz. Next up, one deal that I hate. The Korpisalo one is looking like an utter shitburger. He obviously played fantastic last year for Columbus. Then he had like a 921 to finish out the season with the LA Kings. It has not really been the case this year for the Ottawa Senators. He has a 10-15-2 record with an 888 save percentage and 3.44 goals against average. He's appeared in 30 games as of right now. And you look at it in terms of goals saved above expected, he is in second to last with negative 11.9. Only Vanacek has less, and he has 4 years left on this deal, and he turns 30 in 2 months from now. So this is looking like an utter shit show. Yes, it is only $4 million, but again, 4 more years after this, they might have to somehow get out of this contract. It has looked that bad. I didn't love this deal when it happened because he has been a wildly inconsistent goalie, but I didn't think it would be this bad. Again, he's literally the second worst goalie in the entire NHL this year. So when looking at Korpisalo, it has not been good. But one goalie that has looked good after signing a cheap deal is Alex Lyon. He signed for 2 years, $900K. And when looking at Alex Lyon, he had that fantastic run at the end of the year last year with the Florida Panthers. People forget the Florida Panthers were not in a playoff spot. Then Alex Lyon comes in, not even Sergei Bobrovsky. He goes 6-1-1 with a 943 and a 1.88. Gets the Florida Panthers into the playoffs. Obviously, Bobrovsky ends up just going on that insane run after Lyon kind of struggles. But when looking at it, he's kind of picked up where he left off. Yes, he doesn't have a 943, but he has a 923 with his 12-6-1 record. Husso and Reimer have looked like utter shit for the most part. So Lyon is really emerging as Detroit's number one goalie, and going forward might actually be a solid starter. I almost put him in the top 20 when you look at what he did at the end of last year and this year. And it's not even like this is a 1-year deal. They have him next year at only $900,000. So this was fantastic work by Steve Yzerman. Next up, another 2-year deal that I hate, Andrei Orlov. 2 years, $7.75 million. And I didn't expect like massive things for Orlov because obviously Carolina's defense core is loaded. That's why I didn't really like the deal to begin with. But I wasn't expecting like 55 points, 60 points, but even by the standards of what I was expecting, it has been extremely disappointing. 16 points in 47 games as of right now. He is playing 16.57 a night. So he's playing third line role. I thought he was going to be their number 3 defenseman. That has not been the case. And in the last 19 games, I actually just tweeted about it like an hour ago when I was making this video. He has 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points, and is playing 15.47 a night in his last 19 games. When you look at it, yes, it's only a 2-year deal, so it's not like one of the worst contracts in the NHL by any means, but he has been like a $2 million defenseman making $7.75 million. I thought that they should have spent that money on a forward, a second line center. Jesperi Kotkaniemi was their second line center coming into the year. So I think that this was just a massive mismanagement of funds when looking at Carolina's one strength, not one strength, but their clear strength heading into last offseason was the defense core. What do? They end up signing a guy for basically number one money, or at least very, very good top pair money at $7.75 million. It has not been good. And he's also 32 years old. So like they didn't even account for a potential fall off. It's not like he's putting up these amazing underlying numbers in a third pair role. No, he's just been average at best. So when looking at Orlov, this has kind of been a disaster of a contract. Going back to good goalie, Cam Talbot, 1 year, $1 million with a $1 million bonus on top of that. When looking at Cam Talbot, yes, he has not been playing very good of late, but he started off so fantastic for the LA Kings with a 12-4-1 record with a .931 save percentage and 1.82 goals against. So in looking at it, yes, it has been a little bit bipolar, but the reason why the Kings have been able to have this absolutely horrendous last month or so and still be in a playoff spot is because Cam Talbot has been so good. I believe he's 10th in the entire league in goals saved above expected. He is still having a very elite season. And again, for a $1 million cap hit this year to get good starting goaltending is very impressive. Yes, $1 million next year. That's not a big deal. We'll talk about a bigger bonus at the end of the video. But when looking at it, Cam Talbot still, considering he's going to play probably 55 games and end up around the 9-10, that is fantastic value for $1 million. And especially when you look at Phoenix Copley has been horrendous for the LA Kings. So if they didn't go out and sign a Cam Talbot, they would be absolutely in the shitter right now, probably well out of a playoff spot. Cam Talbot has still been a fantastic signing. Next up, another one-year deal that has been horrible, Jonathan Kingberg. Kingberg signed 1 year, $4.15 million. He played 14 games, had 5 points, then mysteriously hip surgery, LTIR, done forever. I'm sure he was hurt, but it was a little funny how immediately just got thrown on LTIR, cap it out of the way. Just another shit show. Yes, the Leafs are hopefully going to be able to use that LTIR money at the deadline, but when looking at it, they could have got far better options in terms of cheap defensemen. You look at an OEL that signed for $2 million has looked very good. You look at even a Kevin Shattenkirk as a veteran guy signed for league minimum. They went in big time, $4 million for Jonathan Kingberg. That has been an absolute shit show. Going to a deal that I like, Jonathan Drouin. Drouin obviously signed with the Colorado Avalanche, 1 year, $825,000, the veteran minimum, reuniting him with Nathan MacKinnon, who formed one of the greatest junior duos of all time with Halifax all the way back in 2013, ended up winning the Memorial Cup. Drouin was coming off a brutal season of having 2 goals in 54 games, as well as like 27 points, but he has been looking very good, especially of late. It wasn't a fantastic start for him, as he only had 8 points in his first 26 games, but the underlying numbers were solid, and then Bednar gave him an expanded role, and he has 20 points in his last 21 games, playing 20 minutes and 26 seconds a night. He is playing full first-line role for the Colorado Avalanche, who don't have Lehkonen, don't have Nichushkin right now. And yes, he is playing with Nathan MacKinnon, who's on his way to the goddamn Hart right now, but he is playing fantastic in his own right. When you look at him, probably on pace for potentially his best season of his entire career, especially the final 3/4 of the season. When you take off that rough start, it's going to be the best hockey that he has ever played in his entire life. And when looking at it for $825,000, that's pretty solid. Now we're going to swing it over back to the Eastern Conference, a 3-year deal worth $3.3 million. Conor Clifton. Conor Clifton, actually from New Jersey, born in the town that I currently live in, Long Branch, New Jersey. So I don't feel good shitting on him with this, but when you look at him, 3 years, 3.33. On the Bruins, he was just a perfectly average bottom pair defenseman playing around 17 minutes a night. Sabres decided to give him some term in a pretty decent cap hit, okay, number 3, number 4 money, and it has not really been the case when looking at it. He has not panned out. It's not like anybody on Buffalo is playing that good, but when looking at him, 11 points in 45 games, yes, he is a defensive defenseman, but the really interesting thing is he's playing even less than he did in Boston last year. Boston, he played 17.51 a night. This year, he's playing 16.24 on a Sabres defense core that isn't that good. So you look at him, he's going to be 29 in a couple months, I believe. So this deal is clearly aged south. And if the Sabres are going to be competing next year and the year after, they might have to end up dumping, maybe a year from now, dumping his salary, because that $3.3 million to be getting a guy that's playing 16 minutes a night, his underlying numbers are pretty shit, have steadily been going down. That is a very, very bad thing. If it was a 1-year deal at 3.3, who really cares? But the fact he has term on it, and I don't think he's going to turn it around at 28 years old right now, it has not been good. But another good deal, Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene, 1 year, $3 million. He got bought out, obviously, kind of out of nowhere. Entered unrestricted free agency. I thought he was still going to sign for like $5-6 million because even last year he still had 56 points in 71 games. It's not like he was an utter shit show. He just had $9 million AAV, so they needed to get rid of him. I understood the decision to buy him out, but then he signs for the Dallas Stars for $3 million. I was like, in the moment, I was like, this is the goddamn steal of the offseason. And when looking on a one-year basis, he probably has been the best deal. I think Ryan O'Reilly's is probably better just because they have term attached to it. But 1 year, $3 million for Matt Duchene. He has 43 points in 47 games for them right now. And his line of Sagan and Mason Marchment and Duchene has arguably been Dallas's best line this season. Better than the Robertson, Hintz, and Pavelski line that we often talk about as one of the best lines in the entire NHL. So there's a real shot that he ends up in the mid-70s, only making $3 million. That is fantastic. Yes, he doesn't play a lot of defense, but it's not like he's playing 21, 22 minutes a night, your full two-way guy. But when looking at him for $3 million, 70-ish points, that is an absolute steal. And lastly, we got Connor Brown, 1 year, $4 million when including bonus money, $775,000 this year, $3.225 million next year when he's not even on the goddamn team. And when looking at him this year, 0 goals, 4 assists, 4 points in 37 games. He has still not scored a goal yet. Yes, he has hit his bonus 10 game. The bonus kicks in at 10 games. That was the incentive within the bonus. His underlying numbers are pretty solid for a guy that's only making $775,000 this year. Obviously, the production has not followed. He's been pretty solid on the penalty kill. But when looking at it, unless he goes off in the playoffs, this is going to be a disaster for the Edmonton Oilers, a team that is already pretty cap tight, having $3.225 million on the books next year for a guy that isn't even playing that much better than his $775,000 cap hit this season. It is absolutely dreadful for Ken Holland and the Edmonton Oilers. But yeah, those are some of the deals that I like. Again, the deals that I like: Ryan O'Reilly, Alex Lyon, Cam Talbot, Jonathan Drouin, Matt Duchene. The deals that I hate: Korpisalo, Orlov, Klingberg, Clifton, and Brown. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? What are some other ones that I missed? I almost put the JVR one. He's been playing great. I could see putting him over Jonathan Drouin, but Drouin's just playing so good, especially of late. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? And I'll be seeing you in the next one.